Dangbei, that's the name of the company that reached out to sponsor this showcase of their Mars Pro 2 smart projector. Look at it. It's like a fat, tall Sonos. And look at all these things they have inside the box. Paper you can read, ShamWow, a remote you can talk to, and unlike your phone, a power supply. This compact, dense box is a 4K laser projector. It actually is an ALPD, that's Advanced Laser Phosphor Display. It's 4K at 60 Hertz or 1080p at 240 Hertz. And yes, there is a low latency game mode. It's glossy, which I guess is why they include the Shamsi. Actually says Dangbei right on it. Dang towel, so you can wipe your fingerprints off here. But you know what? There's still a peel on this thing. Oh, nice. All right, tour of the outside here. You can see there are grills on the sides because there's speakers in there, two 12-watt speakers. We'll listen to those later. And on the back is all the I/O. Headphone jack for secret viewing, two USB 2.0 ports, an HDMI eARC port, my favorite one, then another HDMI, these are 2.1, a SPDIF port, then there's a LAN port, it's probably a 100-100 port because it's not labeled otherwise, and then your DC Comics Batman power port. On the bottom, 5 interesting things, 4 of which are rubber feet. And then there's this little 1/4-inch threaded type of mount that you see on the bottom of cameras and some speakers, and I think the reason it's on here is because for a limited time only. Actually, I don't know about the limited time thing, but we have a box, which I believe houses a gimbal for this thing. $140 value. Wow, this is metal. This is like literal metal, and it spins. That is cool. It's like a branded Lazy Susan. This base, you can see, has these tracks on the sides. Okay, boom. Oh God. Included small screws and Allen key. Huzzah! Dangbei. Nice, the knurling on here, it's just a nice product. Colors, accents, this is nice. And they say it's $139, $140 value, but it's free if you buy it at launch. That's a bargain. Even at 140 bucks, which is more than I'd like to pay for a projector gimbal, I don't think that's a bad value considering how well built this thing is and the amount of metal it is. Why would you even want a gimbal for this? Well, for starters, what if you want to project on your ceiling? So you can be lying in bed watching movies. You can do that with this, and because it has all these awesome AI auto Keystone features, you don't even have to fuss around with it being planar on your ceiling or wall, which I will do presently. It's a nice dang girl glossy black power adapter with 180 watt output and a Mickey Mouse connector for easy detaching. I like a good standardized cable. Comes with a nice wide Velcro cable tie and a barrel jack connector that just goes right in there to the top. And you might think, kind of sucks that it's at the top and not the bottom. However, that does make it not get in your way as much when you're tilting it. It's a really Spartan remote with just a few buttons, kind of like an NVIDIA Shield remote, select in the middle. You've got just a few platform specific buttons, no Disney Plus, you got Prime Video, YouTube, and Netflix, and we'll talk more about the Netflix a little later. Man, Stilgar looks so stupid on the poster. He looks like he's talking to a dog. Who's your good boy? This is pretty close to the smallest image this projector will throw. It'll go down to 40 inches and as high as 200 inches. But they actually recommend for the clearest image for it to be between 80 and 120 inches. Because beyond 120, the light is just getting spread too thinly and the image will be washed out. The colors won't be as vivid. Let's move this thing to get it a little bigger. There you have it. I talked smack about this book, but this book told me that this side button, the black one, if you press it, it will launch the projector settings menu. So I can mess around and do fine tweaks to any of the AI kind of screen fitting settings, or I can just make them run again. I think focus is good. Let's check out image correction. Manual keystone correction, that's what I just was. Fit to screen, automatically align the image with the screen. Let's see how it does. It made it bigger, but it definitely shot off the top. You can see there's light bleeding off the top edge now. So you can see it did a fairly good job with the auto keystone, but thankfully they don't make you rely on these features. You can manually do it to get it perfect. Okay, so you don't need to move the projector itself to do the zoom level, which is awesome because, you know, sometimes you're not in a situation like me where you have the option of putting it on this coffee table or this table. Sometimes you only have one spot your projector could reasonably be. Honestly, probably most times. Image reposition, adjust the position of the projected image. This is what I need right now because as you can see, there's a couple slivers, particularly on the bottom where the image is too high for the screen. All right, and finally advanced auto keystone correction after movement. That's not on? I thought that was on. That's crazy. I thought that was on this whole time. That explains kind of, when I first turned around, I was like, why isn't it doing anything? It was just doing focus. It wasn't auto keystoning. I'm gonna turn that on. That's what I would do. And avoid obstacles. This is if you want it to automatically display on a wall, but there happens to be like a light switch on the wall. It'll be smart enough to go to the side of that light switch so that it's not making a hole in the image. Bluetooth speaker mode, heck. Dang, babe. Cool feature. Sounded a little bit bassy, actually. All right, now that we're set up, let's look at the interface. It's Google TV. As you can see, it comes with Netflix, YouTube, and Prime Video pre-installed, as well as this multimedia player. The cool thing about the Netflix is that this is licensed Netflix, so unlike at least some Android TV boxes, this has licensed Netflix, which means it does not use simply the Netflix web app, which would result in lower quality Netflix being streamed. This uses the official Netflix, it's running locally, but this is the world's first 4K laser projector with Google TV with licensed Netflix. Some HDR content. This projector actually supports both HDR10 Plus and HLG, which you don't always see. It's more useful for sports on TV. No Dolby Vision though. With HDR on, you're gonna get up to 2,450 ISO lumens. Look at that. That fish just lives on that other fish's fin. It's crazy. That's like me and Linus. Because this is shining on a dark screen, like a gray screen, it really has low black levels. I'm not gonna call it OLED-like, but with this screen combination, it doesn't look like a glowy gray, which you could get on some LCD TVs. Look at that beard. Oh, the good old days. But yeah, this looks better than that 8K YouTube video we watched a second ago. This looks good. I can see some detail in the background in the blacks, but then his face is nice and bright and well lit. It's HDR, bruh. David's appreciating this video. Okay, let's get out of here. God. Can you imagine a crab just doing this to you? It like has this big pincer. It's like LTT. There's the crab. I mean, this is pretty close to my head at max volume, and I would say it's loud enough, but it's pretty close to my head at max volume. So you might want to get a soundbar or speakers to go along with that. Luckily, it does have Bluetooth 5.2, so you could send the audio right over to a soundbar or just plug it in with eARC. This thing is pretty cool. Another thing that's great about its laser technology is that it will last longer than a traditional projector lamp, up to 10 times longer, they claim, with 30,000 hour life. And not only that, it'll do that while consuming less energy. They claim 73% less energy than a traditional lamp. So lasers, you don't need to know how they work to know that they work great. Now that this has been on for a while, it's definitely warm, but it seems to be doing a good job dissipating in multiple directions. I take back what I said about it being a space heater unless you were this close to it. So if you're thinking, dang, I'm gonna get one of those for my bay, you can for $1,900 MSRP, but if you buy it now, it's $400 off plus another $50 off using our code, which is in the description. Check it out. If you like this video, hit like, hit subscribe, and check out our other projector videos. We have a few of them. I think even Dan hosted one, and everyone loves Dan.